This video is to help you create a spreadsheet on Google Sheets. So to start, you're going to go to drive.google.com. Make sure you're logged into Richard McKenna with your rmckenna.org account. Then create a new Google Sheets. The first thing you should always do is give it a name. So I'm going to call this one McKenna Music, and then you should share it with your teacher. So type in your teacher's email here and it'll be shared with them. Okay, when you make a chart, you need two columns, an independent variable column and a dependent variable column. Our independent variable in this problem is the number of CDs, and the dependent variable is the cost. So on the independent variable, you put in whatever number you want. The numbers that we were looking at earlier were 0, 100, 1,000, even all the way up to 100,000. And then we have to figure out our cost. You should have figured out your cost already. I'm going to use this expression to figure out my cost. It is not the same as the one that you used. I don't want to use the same numbers. You can create those numbers yourself. I'm going to use $62,000 for my one-time costs and then $3.10 for my per CD cost. So notice I use negative numbers here to represent negative, to represent that it's a cost. It's not money coming to me, it's money leaving me. So right here, if my cost is $62,000, plus $3.10 per CDs. If I don't sell any CDs, then my cost would be $62,000. And I forgot the negative. So if you double click on the cell, you can edit it. Then my next one would be negative 62,310. The next one for 1,000 CDs, 65,100. Here's my numbers. And did you notice that again, I forgot the negative signs. Again, you can put those in after the fact if you double click on each cell. Okay, so I have my independent variable in, I have my dependent variable in. Let's make the graph. You highlight both columns and then insert chart, or there's a insert chart button here. So if I insert a chart, this is not the chart that I want. This is a column chart or a bar graph. I want a spreadsheet, so I'm going to change the chart type. So here's my spreadsheet. Now this does not look exactly like I would probably prefer. The numbers are all clumped together right here. They're all clumped together. Because 100,000 is so much bigger than those other numbers. So what we're going to do, well, I would not prefer this chart. So I'm going to delete this chart actually. And we're going to create a chart in another way that uses nice even increments in our independent variable. So maybe we count by 100 instead of increasing by 10 times every time, we just increase by 100 every time. Now you don't have to actually type it all in. Spreadsheets are very powerful. If you start a sequence of numbers and then highlight the last two and then pull this down with this little blue box. That little blue box right there is called the fill box, and it fills in all of these cells with whatever pattern you had started there. So that's a pretty nice feature right there. Now these numbers are incorrect, so I'm going to delete them. We still have to calculate these numbers. The first one I already know, but I'm going to show you how to have Excel calculate them rather than you having to calculate all of these by hand, which would be difficult to do. So Excel will calculate them if you put an equal sign. If you just type something in Excel, it displays it. But if you type equals and then you type something, it calculates whatever you type and then displays that answer rather than what you type. So here I'm going to put negative 62,000, and then I'm subtracting from that $3.10 per CD. So shift 8 is times X. Now I'm not going to put X in here. If I type X, it's not going to do anything. X is the number of CDs, so I want this cell to reference the number of CDs that is right next to it. In this case, that's 0. I'm not even going to type 0 here. I'm going to type in the cell A2. That's the name of that cell. Or you can just click on the cell and it will put it in for you, cell A2. So now this is going to take negative 62,000 and subtract 3.1 times whatever number is in cell A2, which in this case will be 0. So I just get negative 62,000. Again, notice that I didn't type negative 62,000. I typed this whole thing, but this is what that equals, and so that's why that is what's displayed. Now we don't have to do that over and over again. All I have to do is grab this blue fill box. There it is again. When it changes to a plus, click and hold, pull it down, and now every single one of these is calculated just like that. So this one, if you look at it, refers to cell A3, the one right next to it. So it's 100 times 3.1. This one refers to cell A4. This one refers to cell A5, and so on all the way down. It's very handy that way. So again, what is displayed is not what I typed. So now I very quickly have a lot more data points than I had before. I'm going to highlight both of those columns and then insert my chart, change it to a scatter plot, and that looks much better. That looks much more like what I might be used to seeing. I'm starting at 62,000, and every CD I make, every 100 CDs, it goes down. The cost to me is increasing, which is making me owe more money. So that's why it's going down, because we're owing this money. It's not money that we're making. Now, the cool thing about spreadsheets is if I wanted to change this chart to a profit chart instead of a cost chart, all I have to do is change one cell. So right here, I'm going to add what I sell the CD for. So if I sell the CD, say for $13.15, so 13.50 times the number of CDs again, which again would be cell A2. That number didn't change because these are both 0. But what happens when I pull this all the way down? Suddenly we're starting to make money. So we'll still have to do quite a bit more in order to get up to 0, the break-even point. But we are starting to make money instead of lose money, because now all of these cells are now adding $13.50 per CD. So we are now making money as we go. So that's good. That's a good thing. Making money is a good thing. If you want to see more, just highlight the last 2 entries in both columns, grab that box and pull it down, and you can go down as far as you want. Now, I don't know that it's going to include that in the chart. We probably have to remake our chart. But we could remake our chart very easily. And you can see we're actually positive there. We're going to make money now. So let's remake our chart. And there it is. We're actually making money at this point. We have passed 0. So after we sell, you can see on here where the break-even point is, between 5,900 CDs and 6,000 CDs. Somewhere in between there is the break-even point. So that's making a chart on Excel. Please let your teacher know if you have any questions.